Hello and welcome, this is Philip, and today we're going to be reacting to the fantastical art of Even Amundsen. And the way you're actually supposed to read out his name is like this. Do you even Amundsen, bro? I know this joke never works, but I always try to shoehorn it in at any given moment. This artist is suggested by one of the comments in my channel. Thank you so much for that. You guys are my fuel, my oxygen. It's what I live for. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Evan is an illustrator and concept artist from Oslo, Norway. And he's mostly known for his fantasy-focused artwork. He's a true Viking in artist form, and we're going to be taking a look at his art today and see exactly what's going on. So let's do this. So I got his ArtStation page here with me. Now this is somewhat of his older works. To me, this has a very realistic feel, despite his very painterly style. So in terms of lighting, we got this face from the side, right? And it's kind of obscured in shadow, because the lighting, mostly indicated by this rim light here, is coming from the back, and so it's illuminating the other side of his face, basically. You can see this very clear rim light here. He's not only using a rim light, but he's also using something what is called subsurface scattering. Subsurface scattering! Subsurface scattering! Subsurface scattering! Yeah, yeah! Parts where it's gonna be translucent, or where the light is going to penetrate like some surface areas, if you will. You're gonna see that like warm orangey tint around the edges, especially in the ear when the light is hitting parts where it's more translucent. So in these nice rim lights, we get like nuanced subsurface scattering used, right? It gives that real nice realistic feel to it, to a painting that already has like a painterly look. So while this face like is obstructed in shadow, we also have to deal with things like, you know, bounce light, reflected light, whatever you want to call it. The light is coming like from underneath, it's gonna bounce underneath the chin, and that's what you're seeing right here. The chin area is being illuminated, not extremely so, but is illuminated by the weak reflected light that is coming underneath, like pew, pew, like this, you know, if that makes sense. You know, sound effects always help the point come across, so that's how it works. The light source is kind of ambiguous, but we know that like how it's indicated, how it's implied, it's coming from the back. And so we have this really nice edge, and then the silhouette of the characters popping out the background makes it really readable. The thing is, even though some parts are really roughly painted, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Send it out, ship it. It's ready, it's done. And the reason why that doesn't matter is because the idea and the painting as a whole has already been conveyed to the viewer. You're going to look at the most important part, which is the face. The rest is just the impression or the implication of the idea. But the idea in and of itself as a whole right here is already sold, is already clear. Unless you're working for someone else and that person says, can you render out that part of the shoulder, please? And that's a different story. But other than that, the idea is already conveyed. What I love about this piece, for example, is that he makes really iconic, interesting characters. And when he designs outfits and clothing, he goes all out. He makes sure that every part of a character that he designs is adding a lot to the narrative visually. He makes sure that every detail is put into the character to finish a character fully in terms of world building, lore, the aesthetic that completes that lore of the character. With Evan's art and designs, you'll never have these kinds of questions.
Oh, well, I actually don't really know what this character is about. I don't know actually what he does, or I can't really see his personality.
What is this character even? What is he supposed to be?
You'll never have these questions with him because he makes sure like the world building of his characters are completely fleshed out, and you can truly see that. And also he keeps in mind what works in terms of design. It's cool that you want to add a lot of details to your character, but does it work as a design? I love the green that is going for as the primary color, adding this as a secondary color, and then some points of interest that are very saturated, different colors. Things like this orange
feather, the yellow scarf, really kind of break the monotony of the color palette in the design and makes the character really interesting without stepping away from what the character is supposed to be, right? Really good design. So let's take a look at his sketches and his line works, because I think those are amazing. He does a phenomenal job at those. And that goes really to show that he's not only good at painting, but he is really proficient at drawing. When you look at his finished products, like when it's all rendered out, it doesn't really deviate that much from his line work to me, because this finished product, even though it's rendered out, it contains the same feel as the line sketch that he started out with. When you have a workflow that starts out with line work, then colors, and then you paint over it, your lines are really going to function as your foundation for that art piece, right? Everything that he's putting in the line work, I feel, is going to come through at the end result as well. Every line counts and has like an expressive feel to it. It's a particularly unique drawing style, I feel like, that defines what Evan's art style is. So I love his sketches. He has a lot of sketches, and something that he calls sketches. These are beautiful paintings. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? But in all seriousness, I love this particular fox. I love this because it shows something that I learned from many other artists as well. So you want to make a painting, you want to paint a fox when he's in this cool environment, this cool snowy forest. The objects are gonna adapt to the atmosphere and the colors of its environment, right? So it's naturally that you're gonna add also like cooler tones to the orange of this fox. So if we zoom in his fur, in his orange fur, he's adding like cooler colors because his fur is being affected by the colors of its environment, by the atmosphere. Also, if you look at the white, have more of the cooler blue tints in the white. Also look at here, some hues going towards green almost. But if you don't watch out, something very dangerous will happen if you try to go overboard with I gotta make it realistic. What's the danger in that? And that's, you're gonna lose the local colors of the character, right? If you have too many grays and you're gonna mix too much and you're gonna mix too much cools, it's gonna be a gray mess and there's gonna be no color in there. And you're gonna completely lose the local color. You're gonna make a blue fox. That looks horrible, right? So the trick here is also to contain more desaturated oranges. But what he does as well, he adds smidgets of highly saturated oranges in between. So even though his fur is being affected by the environment, this brown is very desaturated here. It doesn't stop Evan to add like very highly saturated smidgets of orange. You know why? Because if you do it a little bit, it's gonna make it so vibrant. And it's gonna fool your eyes that the actual colors are orange. It's gonna make a beautiful piece. It's something I'm recently also stealing in my own artwork. I absolutely love these kinds of designs, where the outfit designs are really the primary focus of the character, and the outfit designs and the clothing is really thought out. Really nice combination of shapes, contrasting textures, color combinations that fit well, but also make it into a unique overall design. It reminds me a lot of fashion design, but within a very fantasy. It also has a lot of cultural influences. All that makes a great fantasy character. Like, it's really cool to think of things out of your head, but basing it on real life things that already exist, like cultural clothing. Having a bunch of references of clothing that are based off existing cultures, ancient cultures, traditional cultures. If you base your clothing around that and look what things work together, you can create really uniquely designed characters like that. This is one of my favorite kinds of designs that I've seen from him. We have this bard as well. Look at how much character it has, and it's not only his facial expressions that looks like I'm a bard and I have seen some shit, bro. It's not only his facial expressions, right? Again, it's shapes, textures, patterns, and the color combinations. Man, you love to see it. You love to see it, man. He has also worked for some Magic the Gathering illustrations, and I feel like His style fits so well for the Magic the Gathering brand. I feel like when the cards become this small, you can never really truly appreciate the artwork, but now we can, because we can look at its full glory. Another thing I think is genius, and you have to do this if you're illustrating a card, right? And Even Amundsen does this. This really helps. When a card becomes this small, you have to make sure it becomes readable at an instant, at a glance. Just you know exactly what you're looking at, because if these cards are getting this small, the illustration is getting this, even this tiny. What am I doing with my hands? When you're shrinking the illustration so small, you gotta make sure that things are readable, bro. People have to actually see what's going on in the artwork. And he does that. Clear background contrasted against the silhouettes, the darker silhouettes of the characters right here. We have our focal point, our main character here, showing his Willy Wonka's ticket that he got on a horse.
I've got a golden ticket.
Things that are important are darker than the background. They're going to pop off the background, and it's going to make it really readable. They're not extreme amount of details that makes it hard to read, because some card games do that, where their illustrations are so over designed that the details actually take over, and it's hard to tell what you're looking at. And here everything is pretty clear. And so yeah, I feel like Evan's artwork suits Magic the Gathering extremely well. We gotta add some unicorns into the card game, right? I think this is a really cool showcase of his artwork, because he worked on concept art, he worked on designs for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And that just goes to show you that if you keep at it, doing what you love, you focus on what you love, you excel, you become an expert at said subject matter, people are gonna call you for those things, because you're truly great at designing specific things that certain projects want. This is a prime example. Like, the Viking that he is, loves designing fantasy and Viking related stuff. And so whenever Assassin's Creed creates a Viking project, who are they gonna call? Even Amundsen. Because he excels at these kind of designs, and I love it. You can see here the different variations of character and the outfit. Man, if this doesn't inspire you, I don't know what does. Because look at these outfits. It looks so good, man. Look at the amount of variations. And even though they're all within the same subject matter, within the same culture, like this Viking culture, right? All these characters seem very distinct, different from each other, iconic. They all have like a very distinct uniqueness to their character. They all have something that makes them different, even though they're in the same theme. And that's what a great concept designer, concept artist does, right? Look at how many variations, and they all look different. And they all look iconic. And there's so many variations. If you want to be a concept artist, this is what you should be capable of doing. Tons of variations of different kind of Viking dudes. Look at here, different color themes for the different factions or guilds. I don't know, I never played the game, but I feel like these are different factions within different, Viking tribes. And it's amazing. Here, his latest piece, everything we've talked about combined into one artwork. He has also a preview for his speed paint. We're gonna check it out a little bit. So this is real time. This is how fast he actually draws. This is not sped up. This is just how he makes art. You see, this is really interesting. So his sketch, focusing around the anatomy, the pose, the gesture, everything. And then when you have a solid, base model of your character, you're gonna design and sketch some clothing on top of it, because then it's gonna be easier, right? Then defining the face, creating a better line work on top of it, because the previous one was a sketch. Now you have like this really refined line work on top of it. And you know what this arrow means, right? This arrow means where's the light source coming from? So it's really important to have a light source in mind when you're gonna paint things. So here are the local colors. Those are the colors that are unaffected by any lighting. So what are the colors of the object or the person without any lighting? And then afterwards, when you add lighting, that's how the colors are going to be changed or affected by the lighting, right? So painting some details on it. And now, oh, it's going too fast. He has that cell shaded technique. So he's adding a very basic shadow around to create the form of the character, right? So this arrow right here is to indicate the light source coming from the top diagonally. And so you're gonna take into account where the shadows are gonna be, right? Oh, he had something very interesting in one frame, and I don't know if I can see it. He's adding also a lot of ambient occlusion. And then he's refining the shadows, blurring some edges, smudging some edges, adding some warmer colors in between to make the skin look more skin-like. And basically he's just refining the cel-shaded version into a more rendered out piece. And it looks amazing! You know, I really love this artist. I'm gonna leave a link of his art station in the description down below so you can check out more of his artwork. It's really amazing. That's gonna be it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really fucking appreciate it. I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.
Subsurface Scattering, Subsurface Scattering, Subsurface Scattering, yeah.